Hey guys, how you doing? It's Tom here. I hope you're doing well. So this might become a thing. It might not become a thing. I wanted to branch out and try a few regular things on this channel, just to keep it fresh and to keep it interesting to make content. So I don't know. I don't want to try and tell myself I'm going to stick to something because I'm not usually very good at sticking to things. But we'll see how it goes. So this is Philosophical Thursday. Purely because I'm filming this on a Thursday. If it actually ends up online on a Thursday or maybe in the early hours of Friday, I'm not sure, and that won't be very good. And obviously it depends where you are in the world. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you just something that I've been thinking about recently, because I've been getting quite interested in reading some books and some literature that are focusing on technology and the internet and virtual reality and artificial intelligence and all these kind of things, because obviously they're becoming hugely prevalent in the world, in our society. They're starting to influence every part of our lives, and yeah, it's something that we're going to have to get used to as we progress and as we go on as humanity. So I just wanted to share something which you might have thought of yourself, or maybe you've heard before, I don't know, but just kind of something that I thought was an interesting connection. So I got to go like 2,000 odd years back to ancient Greece, to a chap called Plato. You probably heard of him. I think he was an INFJ. Well, he's classed as an INFJ. I don't know who typed him. And one of his most famous works was, well, The Republic, and I'm not sure if it is in The Republic, but there is the allegory of the cave. The Cave, allegory by Plato. So I'll just briefly explain this if you don't know what I'm talking about or what the cave is. It's an allegory, a little story about a cave. And in this cave, there are human beings, and these human beings have always been in the cave. They've kind of been born into bondage because they are chained to a wall, to a chair, whatever. They're chained to something in the cave, so they can't really move about. In front of them, there is a wall of the cave, and on this wall, there is a light show, kind of like one of those puppet shows where there are moving images on the cave that create, a very simplistic version of, say, TV. And this is because at the back of the cave there is a fire that is casting light onto this wall of the cave, and then obviously at some stage there are figures that are being manipulated and moved to create shadows, to create this moving virtual reality world for the people who live in the cave to watch. Now they can't look behind them, so they don't realize the true source of this illusion. They have grown up with this imagery that is playing in front of them, and they've become transfixed with it. To them, this is what reality is. This is life. This is what they watch every single day. This is what gives them meaning. This is what is their life, basically. This is why they exist, to watch this play of light. It is completely real to them. Now, Plato was obviously, as a philosopher, saying this in a way of, just imagine what it would be like, what would happen in this scenario if someone entered the cave because there was a tunnel that led out into the real world, and the person came down and discovered the situation and was like, oh my gosh, I've got to rescue these poor people. They've been imprisoned here, and they're being tricked by this light show. So I've got to try and free them, and I'll take them back out to reality. I'll take them back up to the real world, into nature, into sunlight, and show them what reality really is. And as this stranger starts to try and explain the situation to the people in the cave, they become terrified. This stranger is clearly a lunatic. They're insane. They're mad. They're trying to say that this isn't reality, that this doesn't exist. And basically, this stranger is completely challenging and dismissing their worldview, their own reality. So instead of reacting with jubilation that someone's come to save them, they kill this person, and they go back to watching the imagery that is being cast upon the wall of the cave, and they go back to being content with their life because this is their life. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of the cave. If I'm just going off memory, so if I've said anything wrong or mistaken anything, please correct me. Now, there's many interpretations of this. People think that, it was Plato's way of talking about, the five senses, and that how we perceive the world, and how can we tell what's real and what isn't real, how can we trust things. Other people have said it was kind of being used as a way to explain how society can be ruled, how people can be misled, how you can get people to believe something even if it's not really true, like a half-truth, and then how you can use that to turn people against each other, if you're the one who is controlling the illusion. It's a big philosophical thing, as philosophers like to talk about and conceive. Also, there is a deeper underlying esoteric meaning, which is that Plato was literally using this allegory of the cave to explain how human consciousness, or the spirit or the soul of a person, whilst they are in the confines of the human skull, which would almost represent a cave if you could go inside it and look around of the bony walls, and that once you're in there, and you're perceiving what you believe to be reality through your five senses, and the light show is the light show that is coming in through your eyeballs and being cast into your brain and creating your version of reality. That obviously, if you are spiritual, if you believe in the spiritual worlds, this can be a trap. It is what used to be called Maya, and that the person coming along to tell you that there is another reality would be someone like an enlightened person, or a guru, or a mystic, or a wise person coming to give you this new knowledge, this enlightening knowledge that there are other realities out there, that the world and what you believe reality to be is just one version, and it is essentially an illusion. It is not all that there is, and you don't have to cling to it with such fear. Anyway, that's the esoteric version of events. So what does all this have to do with technology and the internet? Well, because the internet is becoming so much more of a part of our everyday lives, is we just use the internet all the time. I was thinking you could almost describe the internet and the use of technological devices like tablets, smartphones and computers as a Plato's cave scenario. These things, these technological objects, which they are not reality, but they cast an illusion of reality that we place in front of ourselves and then we immerse ourselves in. And the interesting aspect of it is, with the advent of all of this more advanced virtual reality technology that is starting to come out and is going to be becoming more ever prevalent, and with advances in technology that are going to make something that is still like a relatively kind of two-dimensional experience that you just look at on a flat screen and is just purely pixels, is going to become even more and more immersive. And we can quite quickly presume that we will be in our own Plato's cave experience within simply this new technological world that is being ever more built upon the normal natural world. That was what Plato was actually talking about in the first place, is almost being an illusion in itself. So it's like being caught in a double illusion, a double Plato's cave, if you look at it from a philosophical or maybe spiritual perspective. And I don't know, I just find this interesting to think about. So even without kind of fast forwarding to some dystopian future where we're all kind of trapped in our Matrix style virtual reality worlds, even how we use the internet now, in the fact that people become so addicted to the internet, and I think we can all admit that maybe we spend more time on the internet than we originally had planned to, because its very nature is addictive, because we get a gratifying experience and hit from using the internet. It stimulates the same parts of our brain that get stimulated when we're outside in the everyday world. So it's easy sometimes to kind of feel like, well, I'll just go online. It's easier. I don't have to go and get on a plane and pay to travel to Asia to go on a holiday. I can just watch some nice videos that people have uploaded on YouTube, and I kind of I get a feeling for what it's like. I feel like I've been there now, and it can draw you in very quickly, where suddenly you feel like you've been experiencing all this cool stuff, But the reality is, it's just an illusion. It's just a light show. It's just a trick of the light, you know, that is stimulating you, and you feel you're maybe connected to. But the reality is, you're just sitting in front of a screen in your bedroom, or you're just sat in front of your smartphone on the bus, or looking at your tablet sitting on the sofa with the TV in the background. You know, it's not real, and your experience of real life is, you know, it's just passing away. The more time you invest in this other, or this more kind of immediate, kind of illusory experience. And it's something that I think is going to become much more of an issue and a problem. I think already it's becoming a huge issue and a problem, because the internet has it's come about so quickly. It's not even 30 years old yet. And already it is everywhere. And we haven't really had the chance to really kind of assess its potential, you know, pitfalls, because we have been so caught up in its development, and we have developed kind of with it as well. And it is so now kind of just part of everything, that it's almost hard to operate in modern society without the internet now. It's like you become completely like an almost outcast. So it's almost like you have to participate in it. And again, it's, you know, where could that potentially lead? It can almost become something that will become imprisoning in the future if you can't escape it, or you need to depend on it just to survive and live. And that's how things are going, as more and more things get put onto the internet. Now, you know, it's almost reminds me of Inception. Inception's such a great film to use for kind of metaphorical kind of things, because in Inception, the whole premise and the danger was about going into these dream worlds, that you could go into a dream and then go further down into another dream, and then get lost in the dream worlds, because you're multiplying the illusion. And the internet provides people with a gateway to potentially multiply illusions. You know, you can just go from looking at a screen, and then you go and wear a VR headset, and you're getting deeper and deeper into a reality that feels like it's exciting. And when technology improves, it will become more and more lifelike. It will respond more and work more with our five senses, rather than just being auditory and visual. Yeah, it still isn't reality, or it isn't the reality that can probably never be fully replicated in its richness and its realness that you would experience in what we term as real life. But then, of course, what is reality if you really start to look at all of these things? But it is, I don't know, it's an interesting thing, I think, to think about it, and just to have some awareness. Of course, I'm not here saying the internet is all bad and there's nothing good about it. Of course, I won't be able to talk to you about this right now if it wasn't for the internet. You know, it's a strange proposition. But anyway, there we go. Philosophical Thursday, Philosophy Thursday. Is the internet the new version of Plato's cave? Obviously, please leave any comments and discuss it, and I'll get back to you. And see you soon, guys. Hope you have a good day.